Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having an outstanding week so far. I hope you're all healthy and happy. Students, in this class we are looking at IELTS speaking part 1, and we're going to be talking about competition. Part 1 is a general topic in the IELTS speaking where you get about 6 to 7 questions on a general topic, and participating in competitions, races, tournaments, that's a very common part of many people's lives, so it could be a topic for your next IELTS speaking part 1. Students, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at IELTShelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes, and we use them regularly for our materials, our practice exams, to talk with students, for all of our videos. Definitely check them out. The websites look like this, and we will use this website today. This is the academic IELTS website here with the blue background. Click this big red button to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Hi Amra, nice to see both of you in the class. Welcome David, Gurpreet, good to see many regular students. Hi Anna, and nice to see our members as well. Hi Habibe Domenico, good to have you all here with me. That is fantastic. Students, for the general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, and again, it's this big red button here. It's a one-time payment, does not cost a lot of money, and when you click that red button today, you can use a very special discount code that we only have for the next few days. It's IG100K, and I will tell you in just a moment, but some of you already guessed why that is. It's a 25% discount, which is much higher than our usual discounts, which are usually just 10%, but this one's 25%, and there's a very good reason for that, everybody. As you can see in my notes here, it's right in the middle of the screen right there. 100,000 followers. Thank you so much, everyone, all of our viewers, all of our followers, for keeping up with our materials and letting us be your guide for the IELTS exam. And as a lot of you know, we have millions of subscribers on our YouTube channel, and it was just yesterday that we achieved 100,000 followers on our Instagram profile. So we're very proud and happy about that, and so we're celebrating that over the next few days. And that's why you can use this code IG100K for that 25% discount. And if you want to check out that Instagram profile, it's this one here. It's the IELTS_AE where you can see lots of reels and get lots of other materials, and you can also get the schedule for these classes. So check out Instagram. We also have one for general IELTS. It's IELTS Help. So thank you so much, Madupe, Ravina. Yeah, we're really happy about that. Anna, thank you. All right, everybody. Apps, they're in your app stores. Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. The apps link to the websites. If you have questions, just send an email to me or my colleagues, adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. And you can also even get our books from Amazon. AE Helps Academic IELTS and GE Helps General IELTS. Those are the exam books. So, all right. Thank you so much for all the congratulations. Yeah, it really does make us very, very happy. It's a great way for us to know that we're teaching you the right steps, the right strategies, and we're serving good materials to help you improve your English and prepare for the IELTS exam. So it's vindication, and we're very, very happy about that. There's maybe a new word for some people, vindicate. Vindicate means that you are proven correct. Okay, here, let me write that down. By the way, if you, or when you, hear new vocabulary, if you catch it and I don't talk about it, you can ask me. You can say, hey, Adrian, what was that word that you used? Vindicate. It means to provide proof of concept. Okay, vindication. So the 100,000 followers on Instagram vindicates that we're doing well in what we do. So thank you for that. Thank you for vindicating. All right, everybody. So let's get into the speaking. Here's the video that we released last week. You can check that out when you have a minute. Okay. Make sure to speak and repeat. So copy what I say, copy how I say it. Again, I'm in West Coast Canada. I speak with a Western North American accent. You will hear my kind of English along the western seaboard of the US and Canada, from San Diego probably all the way up to Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah. All right, so you go to your IELTS speaking exam, you arrive early, you practice with other candidates, you use English only, especially for the few hours leading up to your IELTS exam. It's very important that you click your brain into the English language hours before you sit with the examiner. Very common mistake that candidates make is they're speaking in another language, and they do that all the way up until they go into their interview. It's a bad idea. Okay, the brain takes a moment to switch between languages, especially efficiently. Okay, so you want to switch to English hours before your IELTS speaking exam. Okay. All right, and then you register, and then you go and sit with your examiner. Pretend like your examiner. I haven't talked about this in a long time, right? And so it's, I think, a good time to revisit this concept. When you see your examiner, it doesn't matter who they are or what they look like. I know it's easy to get really nervous. For some people, it's the first time they talk to a native English speaker, right? So they're really nervous, right? So you want to visualize and you want to imagine that you're talking to your grandfather or your grandmother. Grandfather or grandmother. Like, if it helps, literally look at a picture of your grandma or your grandpa on your phone and then just think about this, right? Like, look at a picture of grandpa. Choose one, okay? Don't try to picture both. So look at a picture of grandpa or grandma on your phone. So the question here, before we jump into these part one questions, the question I want to ask you first is why? Why is that a good strategy to think about your examiner as your grandfather? Some of you should know this, right? So why do you think? Why is that a good idea? Why is it a really good idea to think about your examiner as your grandfather or your grandmother? There are a few good reasons for this, and you might think it's kind of silly, but it's really not. It's actually a very good strategy. Anna says because it's less stressful. Absolutely, Anna, because your grandparents love you, and most of us feel very comfortable with our grandparents, even more comfortable than our parents, right? Because our parents kind of judge us and want us to just really do well, but our grandparents tend to just love us absolutely and accept us the way we are. So it's less stressful. We are loved by our grandparents, hopefully. So it helps to relax. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Romelia, nice to see you in the class. So Romelia says, it's because it's the idea of authority, respect, but comfort at the same time. I think that's a really nice way to put it, Romelia. So Romelia is saying you have the feeling of authority, respect, but comfort at the same time. Yeah, I agree. That's really good. Okay. Yeah. So Lydia says they usually grasp simple information without making answers complicated. Okay. David says, absolutely. My grandparents always send me money. Right? The bond is natural. Exactly. Yeah. So you feel natural. There are a couple of other reasons, and you should think about this when you're talking with grandpa and grandma, right? They are 2 generations removed. So they are not familiar with the modern world the same way as you are. Okay? This means that you are reminded to speak in full sentences, give ample details and clarification, speak loud and clear. Okay, so grandpa and grandma, definitely most of them have a little bit of trouble with their ears and hearing what you're saying. So you want to speak very clearly. So if my grandparents were still alive, God rest their souls, today I would probably be saying to them, I am so happy that our Instagram account has 100,000 followers. This means that there are 100,000 people around the world who have subscribed to the information that I am sharing with the world to help prepare for the English exam, IELTS. And they pay careful attention to new ideas and content that I am posting on the internet. This is a great milestone, and I am very happy. Okay, so in this case, when you're practicing at home, more is almost better than less, right? So if I'm talking to my grandmother or my grandfather, I would definitely have to say it this way because grandma, grandpa really don't know what Instagram means, okay? I'd have to explain it to them, right? And they don't really understand what 100,000 followers means, right? To them, that would be strange information, okay? And in the IELTS exam, that's kind of what you want to do. So you want to think about information as, like how well am I explaining this? Does this make sense? And indeed, some of those examiners for the IELTS are well into their 50s, maybe even their 60s. And they might have heard about Instagram, but there's a good chance they don't know it as well as you would or I would. Okay? All right? Does that make sense? So, thinking about the examiner as your grandfather, your grandmother has a lot of really good benefits for your performance or the way that you think about your performance. Okay? All right. Ayush says, my grandparents are too advanced. They even make reels for Instagram. Some of them are, Ayush. Some of them are. Some of them ride motorbikes and Post selfies on Instagram, but you get the idea, I'm sure. Okay, Lydia says, yes, I get the idea. All right. So notice how I explain what it is, right? I'm so happy that our Instagram account has 100,000 followers. This means there are 100,000 people around the world who have subscribed to the information that I'm sharing with the world to help prepare for the English exam, IELTS. And they pay careful attention to new ideas and content that I'm posting on the internet. Okay, that will be a band 9 answer. All right, let's jump into the exam questions. So you go into the exam room with the examiner, and again, you visualize that it's either your grandmother or your grandfather. And then the examiner begins. They will say, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. I will give you instructions for each of the 3 parts. Let's begin. May I see your identification? They will want to see your passport. So may I see your identification? That will usually be the first question. They need to check your identification in the face-to-face exam. Again, it's grandpa, grandma, right? So nice, full, loud, clear sentence. Yes, of course. Here is my passport that I used to register for the test. Please have a look. Okay, nice, clear, accurate. Students, I'm still finding that often when I do IELTS speaking interviews with candidates, they're making some strange mistakes with this first sentence. It's not coming through naturally, okay? It is really important that this first sentence from your mouth is natural and calm and clear and accurate and has no mistakes, okay? It just sounds so bad to make mistakes answering this question, like, yes, please, look here, my passport. It's like, what? It's you need to have this answer clear and accurate. So make sure that you have a good, clear answer for this, okay? Gershon Preet says, certainly, here's my passport, please have a look. Yeah, that's a good answer. Make sure you say it clearly, Gershon. So certainly, here's my passport, please have a look. Okay? Shardar, good luck on Sunday for your speaking exam. Nargiza says, your microphone quality is awesome. I can hear your heartbeat. Thanks, Nargiza. All right. Yeah. Amra says, there's no such thing as the exam is easy on a particular date. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the date of the exam. That's silly, for sure. All right, good. So then the examiner will say, what is your full name? So make sure to, again, have a very clear full sentence answer for this one. My given name is Peter, and my surname is McKinley. Please just call me Pete for short. 1 letter short of Peter. All right, so again, nice full sentence, natural, confident. Okay, you're speaking to grandma, grandpa. Introducing yourself should not make you stressed. All right, you're just giving your name. So again, repeat after me. My given name is Peter, and my surname is McKinley. Please just call me Pete for short. Okay, Pete. Now we'll ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better, and some questions on a general topic. Okay. Rahma says, my full name is Rahma Arya. Now, Rahma, they will always ask you, and what should I call you? Okay. So, Rahma, if you give this answer, my full name is Rahma Arya, then they will always follow, the examiner will always follow this with, and what should I call you? So a nice way to show the examiner that you prepared for the test and it's not completely unfamiliar is to just tell them what you want to be called. That shows the examiner that, okay, you prepared, you're ready, and they don't need to ask you the question of what they should call you. Okay, so my full name is Rahma Arya. Please call me by my first name, Rahma. Okay, so please call me by my first name, Rahma. It's okay to say you can call me by my first name, Rahma, but it's better to say please call me. It's kind of the difference between giving permission versus asking. For the examiner in this situation, it's more natural and accurate to ask than to give permission. Okay? Because they're going to call you by some name, right? So might as well ask them to call you by a certain name. Okay? All right. Anna says, I am into long IELTS preparation because I like the process of learning. I'm planning to take IELTS test in November 2024. Anna, that's actually very, very smart. And I'm going to tell everybody why real quickly. So this is what Anna is saying in the chat. Anna says, yes, I'm into long IELTS preparation because I like the process of learning. My recommendation, everybody, is whenever possible, learn IELTS for 6 months before you take the test. I know some people it's not possible because they realize they need the IELTS for school or immigration only a couple of months before the deadline. So they have to rush and get the job done. But if possible, learn IELTS at least 6 months before the test. For several reasons. A, you're learning English anyway, which is very useful. Especially since it's often academic and professional English. So it's obviously not just for IELTS, but for life. Right? And B, IELTS is expensive. So you may as well get the best score possible so it can serve you for rapid entry visa, higher level positions in work, and just a better key to life, right? The higher the score, the more places it becomes useful. So you might as well learn and do your best, and instead of getting, you know, a 6 exactly, you go for a 7.5 or maybe even an 8 if you practice for 6 months, and then it's just going to be that much more useful for you. So definitely, Anna, it's a good strategy, and anybody who has that opportunity, I highly recommend it. We have designed our websites, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com, so you can learn for only a month, or you can learn for years if you want. We keep posting new materials, new tests, new English to pick up and to learn. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why we do that. Okay, so let's continue with the speaking. Sometimes they'll say this kind of a sentence. Let's see what you come up with. So again, the examiner will ask you, you know, may I see your identification? What is your full name? And then at times they will ask, especially if they feel like you have good English, so you have some good answers for those first couple questions and you seem like you're comfortable, they can ask you this question. They can say, please introduce yourself in a few words. Okay? Definitely practice your introduction, your self-introduction before the IELTS exam, right? So please introduce yourself in a few words. Certainly. I am 25 years old. I am currently in my final year of bachelor's study at the University of Toronto in the engineering department, and I'm taking the IELTS exam to pursue my master's degree at MIT from next year. My favorite hobbies include swimming and playing video games. Okay, and that's it. All right, nothing too much, right? So certainly, I'm 25 years old. I'm currently in my final year of bachelor's study at the University of Toronto in the engineering department, and I'm taking IELTS to pursue my master's degree at MIT from the next year. My favorite hobbies include swimming and playing video games. Okay, all right. So don't go overboard. Limit yourself. That's an important skill, knowing when to stop talking. Okay, otherwise it will be a bad conversation and you'll get a lower score. All right. So, Anahita, you're saying, I am Anahita. Yeah, okay. I mean, if you already gave your name, you don't need to give that again. All right. So I'm from Afghanistan, but currently I'm residing here in Canada. I'm an ambitious high school graduate who is impatiently awaiting the dream of fulfilling the requirement of the University of Toronto by attending this exam to study psychology. Anahita, I see the rest of it there. Good. Anahita, that's a really good answer. Okay. All right. Amra, our moderator, says, that's good. And that could be a band 9 answer, Anahita. So as long as you say that clearly, fluently, absolutely, that can be a band 9 answer. Amra says, I am a 21-year-old guy. I'm a senior student, and I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in finance. I'm taking this exam to do my master's degree in Canada. I hope to get a place in the University of Calgary. Even if you haven't decided, Amra, just make it up. Finish the sentence. Okay? I see you say I haven't decided yet, so I left it blank. Yeah, don't leave it blank. Don't leave blanks in the IELTS. Just finish the idea. Okay? All right. All right. Oluwatosin says, I have IELTS speaking test on the 24th of August and the rest on the 26th. Is it possible to get a 7.5 score? Oluwatosin, anything is possible. The question is, what is your current level? How much are you studying? How good are you with languages? How many other languages do you speak that can help you to master English quickly? So there are a lot of variables to answer that question for you, Oluwatosin. It is possible. Definitely the way to make it possible is just to study lots, right? Okay, let's take one more introduction. Good, I'm seeing some nice introductions. You're really kind of picking up the right amount of information to answer this question and to not ramble or go off topic, which is nice. Lydia says, I'm 21 years old. I'm currently in my 3rd year of bachelor's study at the United Arab Emirates University, majoring in speech language pathology. And I'm taking the IELTS exam to pursue my master's degree in either China or UK, and I'll strive hard to make my dreams come true. Okay, good. I like that finish. Sure. Strive hard to make my dreams come true is a nice, natural form of language. Okay. I like it. All right. And then the examiner might follow that up by saying, and what do you like to do in your free time? When I have some time for myself, if I feel energetic, I will go to my local pool, which is 3 blocks from my house and swim lanes for an hour to get a good workout. But if I'm feeling a bit low on energy, I will play some video games with my friends online. Okay? Remember I said that, so swimming and video games, it's actually not really what I do, but I'm just making it up, right? So what do you like to do in your free time? When I have some time for myself, if I feel energetic, I will go to my local pool, which is 3 blocks from my house, and swim lanes for an hour to get a good workout. But if I'm feeling a bit low on energy, I will play some video games with my friends online. Okay, now again, I want to keep reminding everybody about this. So 3 blocks, swimming lanes for an hour. What kind of language is that? What do we call that? Nice quick answer. I know some of you know because you're in these classes regularly. So 3 blocks from my house for an hour. This is considered, that's right, Carolina, it's quantitative language. It's not idiomatic. It's quantitative language. Yeah. A really important tip here, everybody. Okay. So use quantitative language purposefully at least a couple times in the first few questions right away. You can even use it in the may I see your identification. Yes, here's my passport that I used for the exam, which I actually just got renewed last month. So use quantitative language as soon as possible, purposefully. We could call this a trick if you want for the IELTS. It's actually a trick for your brain to help you communicate really well. So use quantitative language at least twice for the first 2 or 3 questions to remind you that this is a very important skill for good communication and high IELTS band scores. Okay? Numbers really help to make communication clear. They improve your lexical resource. So as soon as you say 3 blocks from my house, the examiner is like, okay, wow, that student knows that counting distance in blocks is very common in English communication. And it's very clear what they're saying. So it's really important. It's a very important tip. Everybody got that? Okay? Everybody has this idea? It's a really important one. So use that quantitative language very, very quickly, right at the beginning. Okay? Nice thumbs up, everybody. Good. David says, yes, sir. Carolina are giving some thumbs up. Same with Nipa. Okay? Will really help you. And Constellation says, yes. All right, then the examiner will say, let's talk about competition. Now, as soon as you hear the word competition, you need to think about associated words. So there should be words popping up in your head, okay? So race, prize, tournament. What words come to your mind when you hear about the word competition? Okay? So, Amra, money. Sure, sometimes the prizes are money. Rivalry, and sometimes competitions are expensive. I signed up for a half marathon at the start of October, and I had to pay like $150. I'm like, why do I have to pay? Shouldn't somebody pay me if I'm running 20 kilometers? Like, why am I paying somebody to go run 20 kilometers? Okay, so rivalry, practice. Yeah. Olympics, good. Yeah, any kind of sports, right? Marathon, sure. You can think of football, league, team, single or solo competition, right? Esports, sure. Yeah, there's lots of different types. Combat sports, sure. MMA, absolutely. Mixed martial arts, why not? All right, so lots of words obviously come to mind. So you should not think, well, I can't talk about competition because I'm not into competitions. Okay, we all know about competitions. Even if you're not the competitive type, you should be able to talk about competitions. Okay, it's such a integral part of human nature. Okay. Koa says WWE. Sure, why not? Dance, yeah, dance competition. Swimming, sure. Cooking, absolutely. Quiz shows, school competitions, yes. So the examiner will then ask, do you like to compete with others? Okay, give a nice full sentence answer for this one. Yes, I like a healthy competition with other people. At times, I play chess with my friends, or I get into a good game of football on Saturdays, and I'm really pumped up by the spirit of rivalry and the thrill of victory. I played a great game of football with my friends last week, and I scored a couple of goals which kept my spirit high all throughout the next few days. Okay, so there is a high band answer with some good expressions and a good amount of detail without going off topic or without talking too little or too much. So, do you like to compete with others? Yes, I like a healthy competition with other people. At times I play chess with my friends, or I get into a good game of football on Saturdays, and I'm really pumped up by the spirit of rivalry and the thrill of victory. I played a great game of football with my friends last week, and I scored a couple of goals which kept my spirits high, spirits high all throughout the next week, or all through the next few days. Okay? Notice these expressions, they're kind of nice. A spirit of rivalry. I'm purposefully giving you a bit of content here. The thrill of victory. Okay, those are some nice expressions to answer the question of enjoyment of competition. Okay. Romelia says, I relish competitions as they make me more resilient. Most important is the competitive spirit. For me, it is not necessary who emerges as the victor, as long as I'm having fun. In fact, I lost a 2-hour game of badminton with my friend last Monday, but I had a ton of fun nonetheless. Okay? So, Romelia, let's finish the idea and let's give it an example, right? So I relish competitions as they make me more resilient. Most important is the competitive spirit. For me, it is not necessary who emerges the victor as long as I'm having fun. In fact, I lost a 2-hour game of badminton with my friend last Monday, but I had a ton of fun nonetheless. Okay, that's good. Daman. Okay. Yes, I prefer to have a healthy competition with my fellows whenever I play any video games, as it improves my, not embraces our. Daman, you, not we, not people, not us, okay, but you, as it boosts my self-esteem. Okay, try that instead. Boosts my self-esteem. To perform better, for gaining more respect, or the winning rewards. Yes, I got an in-game award last week in Counter-Strike, a new piece of armor that I'd been hoping to win for quite some time. Okay, all right, let's give it a real world example. Real world examples are really good. Okay, all right, Kunwal has this answer. Kunwal says, no, I don't prefer competitions, but I would like to work as a team to achieve a certain goal. Sometimes healthy competition is acceptable as practicing for the IELTS exam with a timer. Kunwal, this is okay. However, my tip, okay, is avoid negative answers as they are competition killer, or conversation, not well, they're competition killers too. So avoid negative answers as they are conversation killer or killers, and they usually lead to lower scores in IELTS speaking. They lack content. Okay, that's the problem with negative answers, is they tend to be short and it's really hard to build on them, right? So if you give a negative answer, like you say, no, I don't really like competitions, I prefer to just work in a team, then the next one is, how often do you participate in a contest? And it's like, well, I don't really participate in contests because I don't like them. What are your favorite kinds of competitions to watch? Well, as I said, I'm not really into competitions, so I usually watch other kinds of shows like comedies or action movies. Have you ever won a race? Not really, because I don't really like competitions. So it starts to just become this very kind of negative conversation, and it's really awkward. So remember, part 2 is going to be different than part 1 anyway, so you just have to get through those part 1 questions. My suggestion, pretend that you do like competitions, think about some clever answers, give some more details, give more information, and you'll get a better score. It's really hard for the examiner to give a person a good score when they're giving negative answers. Plus, negative answers tend to just be disliked intrinsically, so it's hard to give a good score, right? All right, so try really hard to avoid negatives, even if it's true. Even if you're not big into whatever the topic of part 1 is, really try hard to avoid negative answers. You'll get stuck in this kind of very short, weird conversation, okay? So instead, stay positive, right? Like, I like a healthy competition with other people. At times, I play chess with friends or get into a good game of football on Saturdays. Truth be told, most of us do like competition, even if we think we don't. I've never really seen a person win a situation, even if it's just a very basic kind of competition, and the person go, well, I wish I didn't win. I don't really like competitions. So I've never really seen that, right? So a lot of us who think we don't like to compete, I think it's just because we haven't tried to compete as much. So, all right. So stay positive. All right. So next question, how often do you participate in a contest? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. I am constantly competing with others. The reason is that I have a couple of apps on my phone which are interactive, like chess time, and I am always playing at least a couple of opponents. So I would say that I spend about an hour or so strategizing to win and defeat my counterparts. Okay. Quantitative language, right? How often do you participate in a contest? I'm constantly competing with others. The reason is that I have a couple of apps on my phone which are interactive, like chess time, and I'm always playing at least a couple of opponents. So I would say that I spend about an hour or so strategizing to win and defeat my counterparts. Okay, again, pay attention to some vocabulary like counterparts, okay, or using the word opponents. All right. Notice again the spend an hour or so, the quantitative language. Constantly competing. Okay, so it's constantly here as a replacement for always. Okay. All right, Aditya has this answer for us. Aditya says, I participate in different badminton tournaments at least once in a quarter. It really helps me to stay on top of my game as I can test my skills, and winning motivates me to work harder. Okay, Aditya, it's a good start. I would love to hear when was the last time you were in a tournament. So I was in a state tournament in June, where I won a silver medal. All right, so a little bit more detail to go from like a band 7, 8 all the way to a band 9, right? A little bit more detail, right? Habibi says, let me correct this a little bit, Habibi, but you're on the right track. So Habibi says, I join everyday competition with my phone. I join a competition every day with my phone. There's an application called, not which name is, but called Chess Club, and many people use this app from all around the world. I spend about an hour thinking about chess moves that will earn me a victory. Okay, good. Now it's better, Habibi. So a little bit of grammar, careful with that. Okay, if you were to say it as you wrote it, it would probably be closer to a band 5 with the grammar. So you need to correct that grammar and give a little bit more detail to boost your score. Okay. All right. I'm seeing lots of really great answers, everybody, to these questions. And so let's switch gears and do a bit of live speaking. So for those of you who are new, here is an amazing part of our live classes. You get to interact with me and actually practice your verbal communication. To volunteer for speaking, follow the instructions that Carolina and Amra have put into the chat. Firstly, you want to register a free or paid account, up to you, at aehelp.com. You can do this for free, everybody, so you don't have to pay. And you can log into your My Student account, go to Student Partner Speaking, make sure your microphone is working, make sure you have a good internet connection. Students, this is audio chatting across the world, so you need good internet, okay? And you need a good connection. Go to the website. Again, this is aehelp.com. Okay. You can join the premium version of our course by clicking the big red button. We have the deal of the month for sure. It's IG100K for the discount code, as I showed you. Because we have that 100,000 followers on Instagram now, which is so awesome. Okay, so anyway, once you click the join now, once you have a My Student account, you've got your computer-based practice tests, your online interactive course, exam books, and then you have a lot of other features. The one we're using right now is the Student Partner Speaking. That's just right up there. Okay. And you click on that, you accept the terms, you have a headset potentially so you can hear better, and then you can volunteer by finding me in this list. You will find me listed as Master, okay, Master, and when you find Master in this list, then you should click on this blue envelope next to my handle and say, I want to volunteer or I want to try. All right. Juan Pablo did not get a chance last week, and I remember, Juan, you were really trying to get a hold of me, so let's give you a shot at starting this off. Are you ready? So I will check if you're ready in the chat, and when you say that you are, I will reach out to you and we'll communicate. Okay. Juan says, yep. Now, Juan, when you're practicing for the IELTS, make sure to use IELTS English from the beginning. So, yes, I am. I'm ready.
Hello.
Hi, Juan. How are you?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I am also doing okay, Juan.
Cool.
Juan, can you just tell everybody in a couple of sentences where you are and why you're taking the IELTS?
I'm from Argentina. My real name is Juan Pablo, and I'm taking the IELTS. Well, I don't have a set date yet, but I like to take it maybe in a few months because I have this dream of maybe moving to an English-speaking country. But I don't know. I also feel that I need some kind of certification to assess my English level or something. So
Yeah.
because I didn't study, I haven't studied, sorry, something related to English in university.
Yeah, and you know, truth be told, Juan, the IELTS certificate is a stronger proof of English than having an English certificate from a university. So IELTS is the most accepted proof of English. So it's smart of you. Okay, let me jump into some speaking part 1 questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. So welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. May I see your identification?
Sure. Here it is. It's my passport, which I used for registration.
What is your full name?
My full name is Juan Pablo Avila, but you can call me Juan.
Okay, Juan. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Can you introduce yourself in a few words?
Sure. As I said before, my name is Juan Pablo Avila. I'm from Argentina. I live in a small city called Neuquén in the Patagonia region, and I am an industrial designer. Also, I've been studying English for about 7 years now.
And what do you like to do in your free time?
In my free time, I like to relax with my family and spend time with them. For instance, I have a 2-year-old niece, and I like to take her to the park and also to the playground. And I take her about two times a week, and we always have a blast.
Let's talk about competition. Do you like to compete with others?
Um, yes, I do actually. I'm always up for a good challenge. Um, I think it's fun to compete with others, and also we can assess, or in my case, I assess my ability in different fields. For example, every Saturday I go to visit my nephew, and we play video games. We play Mortal Kombat against each other. So yeah, sometimes we make fun of each other, but it's always fun.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. All right, you want to hear some good news, Juan?
Yeah.
All right. The good news, until this point in your speaking, you're a band 9. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So until this point, so this is a good example, everybody, of what it takes to be a band 9 until this point. Juan, very natural, very clear, good use of language, good use of vocabulary, good control of the amount of information. Okay. And I can tell that you can dynamically and accurately use the English language and thoughtfully use the English language. So I'll explain to everybody a couple of clear points here. So very good. And Juan, I know that you speak really quickly, and actually I can feel that you're speaking a little bit slower this time. So you're purposefully paying attention now to your speed a little bit more. And believe it or not, everybody, this is Juan actually speaking a bit slower than usual, is what I felt. You can speak even a bit slower, Juan, like even another 5%. Okay, you speak quite fast. And even pay more attention to the content, but it is a band 9 for sure. You gave a very good amount of detail. When I asked you to introduce yourself, it was from general to specific. So you explained that you're in Argentina, what you do. You explained a little bit more about the specific region of where you live, and then you threw in a nice piece of complex grammar with the present perfect. I have been learning English for about 7 years. So it was just a really good combination of complex, compound grammar, and it was all accurate. I even liked your correction. When I asked you, do you like to compete with others? He said, yes, I do actually. And that was a very nice form of natural English. Yes, I do actually. I'm always up for a challenge. Up for a challenge is a really good expression to use in this context. Okay. And then you said it's always fun to compete with others. So you gave me a quick explanation of why you compete. It's always fun to compete with others. And then you said we can, and you realized, yeah, no, it's not about we, it's about me. So you said I can assess my ability, right? And that was a smart correction, because not everybody thinks about assessing their ability. So it was a good correction to say I can assess my ability. And then you said I play Mortal Kombat with my cousin, and even though we get into a bit of an argument, we have fun with each other. A very visual, very clear representation of that. So that was really good, Juan. That was really, really good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Keep that up. And when you get a band 9, and this is for everybody that's kind of at the higher level, when you feel like, okay, I'm getting band 8, band 9 in part 1, then what you should be doing is you should be focusing your energy and time mostly on part 2 and part 3, so that you can make sure that you can maintain that level of communication for those parts. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Juan?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job, Juan. Keep that up. Okay?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, go for it.
Sometimes you talk about the speed when I talk. I feel like when I speak really quickly, it's because I'm too nervous or too anxious. So I guess that's not a good sign, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but it's that's human nature. So when a person is nervous, they can go either two ways. One, they speak really quickly, or the other is they start speaking really slowly and they kind of get stuck. So that's one reason that you want to control your stress level, is so that you can control the speed and focus more on your communication and not on yourself, but on the other person understanding you, right? So when you
Yeah,
think more about the other person and how well they understand you, then that also makes you think that, okay, I need to speak a little bit slower, a little bit clearer, so that they can understand me easily, right? So
yeah.
that's why.
That used to happen to me when I was studying, and I had to give kind of a presentation for my thesis, and suddenly I realized. I mean, I had some self awareness, and I could see that I started suddenly talking really really fast.
Yeah, yeah, it
Um,
happens to the best of us, Juan. So again, this is where what I said at the beginning of the lesson, just suddenly see your grandfather or your grandmother's face on the examiner, and then just
mhm.
smile and slow yourself, right? So yeah, no, it's you're not the only one, Juan. It happens to many, many other people, and it's important to recognize that and control that, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Good
Okay.
question. Good question, Juan. All right. Have a great rest of your day, Juan. It's good talking.
You too.
Okay. Bye for
Thank
now.
you.
All right. That was Juan. Give him a thumbs up. He is doing really well. I remember, I think when Juan started, he's been attending these live classes for quite a while now. And when he first started, he was closer to a band 7.5, so he had good base English to start, but certainly improving from a 7.5 to a 9 is no small feat. And Juan, you've done a great job of that, so good for you. All right, let's check in with Ayush, who's just there. Ayush, are you ready? Hopefully Ayush is with us. All right, thanks for all those thumbs up, everybody. That's great. Okay, Ayush. Ayush, I hear that you picked up. Can you hear my voice? We'll give you a second. Maybe it's going to take a second for your connection or your microphone. I don't hear you yet on my end, Ayush. And again, everybody, you want to check your systems. Some phones, some devices don't allow for multiple kind of audio video setups. So you have to really check Ayush and test it, right? Keep in mind that when you have YouTube open and another piece of software open that's using audio, it can mess up the system. Okay, so Ayush, check your settings and then circle back. Let's check in with our premium student, Mohammed. Mohammed, are you ready? Okay. Premium students, you can see your kind of premium student badges there next to your names. Make sure to try to connect with each other because you're probably here often. So it's a good way to find speaking partners by connecting with each other. Okay. Mohammed, sorry, Mohammed, here we go. Hi, Mohammed.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here, Mohammed. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How about you?
I am doing well also. Mohammed, can you just tell the world where you're calling from?
Well, I'm currently calling from the Middle East in the city of Jeddah, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Along the coast of the Red Sea. I've heard great things about Jeddah. All right, Mohammed, and why are you taking the IELTS?
Well, the reason I'm taking that because I'm hoping to go to get my master degree in endodontist in the endodontic field. In
Mm-hmm. Can you tell everybody a little bit what the endodontic field is?
Well, basically, we specialize in treating teeth that have decayed too far, like the caries have gone too far into the tooth, and the only way to treat the teeth is basically eliminating the root.
Okay, so yeah, and that process is often referred to as a root canal treatment. And it's removing the nerves and the roots and hopefully saving some of the tooth if possible, right?
Yes, of course. I don't want to. I did not want to. I wanted to give a general definition so everybody can understand. I didn't like to go to the specific, but you actually I identified the field better than me.
No, it was good. I understood the reason why I was able to explain further is because of your explanation. So I think that it was a great explanation, Mohammed. And you can say in layman's terms. So in layman's terms, it's a lot of tooth decay and trying to save some of the tooth. Sure. Okay, Mohammed, let me ask you a couple of speaking part one questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk
Ready
about.
when you are.
All right. Let's talk about competition. Do you like to compete with others?
I usually don't like to. I usually don't like to engage in tournaments, because it's bring the worst of me. When I engage in a competition, actually I'm really focused. I'm really focused on winning, not in the spirit of the sport itself.
How often do you participate in a contest?
Unfortunately, not that often. I would love to engage in many competition, but my career keep me occupied. Like I have to study for university, exams, work.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. So I would say that your band level at this point is about a 7 to 7.5. So it's a good, kind of to very good. I would say closer to a 7 than a 7.5. You have a fairly good grasp of English for sure. So you're definitely fluent. Band 6 is fluent. You're definitely fluent. You do have a higher vocabulary. So your vocabulary is probably closer to like a band 8 level. You use words like engage in, for example. You use the word tournaments very naturally. The content, the coherence is a bit off. So it feels like you're somewhat confused about what you're saying, and that makes me a little bit confused about what you want to say. So you have to focus on greater clarity. And as I mentioned earlier, Mohammed, giving negative answers is tricky, and it tends to make it difficult to speak fluently and coherently. So let's try a positive, just for fun. Let's try something, Mohammed. Let's try a positive answer. So instead of saying usually I don't like to engage in tournaments, I want you to try to answer this question in a positive way, saying that you do like to engage in tournaments.
No, unfortunately, I didn't say I don't like to engage. I often don't engage in tournament because my study. I would love to engage in tournaments, but yeah, fortunately, study, work that keep me away, and I find it a little bit difficult. Like when the examiner give me a topic.
That's why. That's why,
Yeah.
Mohammed. So, and what you're saying is true, but that was for the second question. For the first question, if I heard you correctly, when I said, do you like to compete with others? You said, I usually don't like to engage. So what I would like you to do is...
right. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, so what I would like you to do, Mohammed, is just really approach it from a positive perspective, okay? So, so just try it, just for fun, okay? So here we go. Do you like to compete with others?
Yes, I would love to compete with others. It's the most fun activities I can do in my day.
Why?
Because I need a moment to think about that.
Sure, and you can ask for time in the IELTS as well. So you're on the right track though, okay? I did like your start more than the negative start. Now, the trick is just to come up with a good reason for why you like to compete and then an example. And I'm going to show you how based on your previous answer, okay? So here, I said, do you like to compete with others? And you said in your original answer, you said, I usually don't like to engage in tournaments because it brings Okay, the correct expression is it brings out the worst in me. So you need the word out there. It brings out the worst in me. Can you just repeat after me? It brings out the worst in me.
It bring out the worst in me.
When I engage in a competition, I'm really focused on winning and not in the positive.
And not in the spirit of competition.
That's a little bit weird. So I would just say, and not in the positive spirit of competition. Meaning, so you have to explain that. When you say an idea like that, Mohammed, and this is for everybody, so when you give an idea that's kind of unique or interesting, it's really important that you explain it, because in the real world, right, in this kind of a situation, the natural question that I or your examiner would ask you is, what do you mean by that? What are you saying, right? So I have an idea, I can guess what you mean, but you have to tell me that. Meaning that I get quite aggressive and I shout a lot because I really want to win, and this makes other people uncomfortable. And I know what that feels like, Mohammed, because I get that way sometimes too when I'm in a competition. Okay. All right, so that would be the negative way to get a band 9, but that's very challenging and very difficult because you have to really focus on this complicated definition and maybe an example, right? So it's trickier. So if you tried to say that in a positive way, I'll show you how you could do that, and I think it's a bit simpler. So yes, simple, not I would love to, just simply I love to compete with others. It's the most fun activity I can do in the day because I'm very competitive by nature, and I gain a lot of energy from an exciting tournament. Last week, I played football with my friends, and it got me pumped for a whole week of school and work. Okay, so it just flows a little bit easier. So try this, Mohammed. I'm going to say the answer and then just repeat after me. So it's an answer, explanation, and an example. And this is kind of the format that you want to study again and again for the IELTS exam, okay? So listen to the question, the answer, and then just repeat after me. Do you like to compete with others? Yes, I love to compete with others. It's the most fun activity I can do in my day because I'm very competitive by nature and I gain a lot of energy from an exciting tournament. Last week, I played football with my friends and it got me pumped for a whole week of school and work. Do you like to compete with others?
Okay. Yes, I love to compete with others. It's the most fun activity I can do in my day because I'm very competitive by nature and I gain a lot of energy from an exciting tournament. Last week I played the football with my friends and it got me pumped for a whole week of school.
Yeah, and it's enough. It's enough. Even if you leave the school and work, it's still enough. Don't rush, okay? So you have the right idea. You don't need to rush. Being fluent doesn't mean that you're speaking super fast. So just a little bit slower and you're doing great, all right? Okay. All right. So stay on the positive side. Really practice giving positive answers and then just clear explanations and examples. Okay.
Can I ask a few questions if you don't mind?
Yeah, you can ask me one question, the most important one, and then the other questions that you have, just send them to me by email so I can give some other viewers a chance to volunteer as well. But yes, definitely ask me the one that you feel is the most important question that you have.
This is not the most important, but your email is at adrian.help, all right?
I'm going to show... okay, it is the most important one because you can ask me all your questions there, so it could be the most important one. This is for everybody. Just one more time. I'll show you this at the end of the class as well, but this is my email here, adrian@aehelp.com. It's on the screen. You're going to see it in a couple of seconds, okay? So, or admin@aehelp.com. So either one of those emails are okay. All right. Okay, go ahead. Ask me your most important question.
Okay, I seem to be stuck at band 7 and I can't improve upon it. Like this is, I think, the second time I'm here with an interview, and I seem to be repeating the same mistakes. So what can I improve upon?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, how do I get unstuck, right? So
Yeah.
you have to really just reflect. Okay. So when you get a question, you have to stop, slow down, ask yourself, did I give a clear answer? Did I give a clear explanation? Have I included an example? What kind of words am I using to connect these ideas? And if you're not, then repeat the answer until you're satisfied with the answer. Make sure you're recording your answers on your phone so that you can listen back and hear the difference between your band 7 and then your band 8 response. It's that self-reflection that's super important, and you need to spend the extra time to get that, okay?
How do I judge from a band 7 to a band 9? Because I know you ask the question what, why, and how, and given an example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah.
Get feedback from others. If you're having difficulty doing it yourself and you're not sure, is this better than the other one? Ask one of your friends, ask a colleague. Say, hey, can you listen to 2 versions of an answer and give me your opinion and tell me why you have that opinion? And then once you get feedback from other people around you, eventually it'll start to click and you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. 5 people have told me that the reason they like this answer better is just that it has more clarity, it has a better connection, it has more details. So get feedback, okay?
Okay.
All right. Mohammed, thank you so much for volunteering, and thank you for those questions. Keep it up. We want you fixing all those terribly decayed teeth, because I know nobody likes that. So, so we want you to succeed, okay?
It will never end, but okay, I'll give it my best.
Awesome. Mohammed, thank you so much for volunteering. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye. All right. That was Mohammed. Thumbs up to Mohammed. That was really good. Okay. Let's go down the list a little bit. Lydia, are you ready? So work hard, students. Yes, absolutely. You know, and dentists, doctors, lawyers. Yes, they often need a high band score. These are very competitive fields. Band 8, band 9 is often what's required, especially for the workplace, for hospitals, for those positions. So you do have to really pay attention to the way you communicate. Okay. All right.
Hello.
Hi, Lydia. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Adrian. I'm doing great. What about you?
I am doing fantastic also. Lydia, can you just tell
Yes.
everybody in a couple of words where you are right now in the world and why you're taking the IELTS?
Yes, sure. I'm currently living in the United Arab Emirates and I'm from Syria. Um, Planning to take the IELTS exam in order to complete my master's degree by applying for a fully funded scholarship in one of the most prestigious universities, either in the China or United Kingdom.
All right. Yes, some prestigious universities want proof of English and a high level of English, right?
Yes, right. Because actually, Mr. Adrian, there is like they specify the band in each section is speaking, writing, listening. So I must get at least band 7 in each section.
Yeah, actually, there's more to it than that, Lydia, and I want everybody to be clear on that, especially for those of you who are applying for postgraduate degrees, so master's or a PhD. It's called a postgraduate degree, and postgraduate degrees have their requirements. So they'll say we need at least a band 7 on the IELTS, for instance, or they'll say we need at least a GPA of 4.2 on a 5 scale, for instance, right, Lydia?
Yes, right.
But the reality, and you will find this if you look carefully, with these universities, especially the very good universities like, for instance, University of Toronto here in Canada, or some of the top universities in China or the UK, the positions for graduate school are competitive. What that means is that if you have 10 people applying for a master's in, let's say, speech pathology, and everybody has a band 7 on the IELTS, but one person has a band 9, they will look at that person a lot more seriously than they'll look at the other people. So even though they'll say that, you know, it's a minimum band 7, they are of course going to give preference, especially for scholarships, to the candidates that have higher GPAs, higher IELTS scores, and just a better application because spaces are limited, right? So
Yes, it is highly competitive, Mr. Aryan.
exactly. So when you're going into graduate school, your goal really should be to just get as high of a score as possible and for every part of the application, right? Absolutely.
Yes, right.
Yep. All right, Lydia, let's jump into, with that positive news, let's jump into some questions. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. Let's talk about competition. What are your favorite kinds of competition to watch?
There is a myriad of competitions that I enjoy watching, such as Olympics and academic competitions. I really love watching the spelling bee contest, as it fascinates me how young participants from different ethnicities can spell long words accurately and quickly. Also, I purchased a BN Sports package to watch the Olympics ultimately.
Have you ever won a race?
Yes, I have won a race merely once in my life when I was at the age of 13 years old. I participated in the first marathon in just under 2 hours, and it was a phenomenal experience where I improved my mood and relieved mental stress by producing endorphins. Eventually, I won the fourth rank in this gigantic event.
If you could make a competition, what would it be?
That's an interesting question. If I had the opportunity to execute a contest, it would be an academic competition about an innovative application that mainly focuses on tracking the students' performance to enhance communication skills and also to plan out a decisive action for success in the long run. So I believe that this contest enables participants to excel in their professional and personal lives.
That is the end of part one. We will now continue with part two. Okay, and then the examiner goes on with part two. Okay, Lydia, good. I liked your answers. You had a good amount of detail. You had lots of confidence, great fluency, good pronunciation. Okay. My one critique is I feel that you went a little bit overboard on some of your use of words and vocabulary for certain contexts, and it was a bit awkward. So careful not to try to impress the examiner too much. Limit yourself a little bit. Don't make your words too fancy because it can go the other way. It can make comprehension or coherence difficult, and it can make it a little bit unnatural. Like I think that you used the word myriad and merely awkwardly a couple of times, and it made it a little bit strange. And for that reason, I wouldn't actually give you a band 9 for this. I would probably give you a band 8.5, just because in my mind it's like you're making it unnecessarily difficult for the listener, and that's not good either. Okay, it sounds really fancy, but it's just a little bit too much. It's a little bit too fancy. Okay, so cut back just a little bit. Cut back. Okay. Like in the second question that I asked you, have you ever won a race? And you said, I have won merely once in my life. It was kind of a weird use of merely. So I have won just once in my life would be a little bit more accurate here. And then you said, I participated in my first marathon. And I think because of that, because you were focusing a lot on the vocabulary, you missed some parts too. Were you trying to say that you finished the race in just under 2 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
No. I mean, actually, it took around 2 hours to finish it, like the duration for this competition.
Yeah, that's
for
what
this race.
that's what I thought, but it wasn't really clear. And again, I think it was because you're focusing so much on what you're saying and the words that you're choosing that you lost a little bit of the accuracy. So I participated in my first marathon, which took just under 2 hours, which would be a world record, but that's okay. Usually if it's a half marathon, it's possible. It's still quite fast, but But yeah, marathons, even fast runners usually take about 3 hours to finish a marathon. So in my first marathon, which took just under 2 hours to finish. And then you said in this gigantic event, it was again a little bit weird to say gigantic. So in this big event. Okay. So don't overdo it. That's my tip here. Okay, Lydia, just careful, just limit, okay?
Okay.
But otherwise, really nice use of vocabulary, and certainly practice your vocabulary, okay? Every chance you get.
Okay. Mr. Adrian, what about the first question that you asked me? You said that it is like saying the word myriad is not suitable in this contest.
Yeah. So you said there is a myriad of competitions that I like to watch. Yeah, myriad means like lots of different kinds or lots of different types, but it's a little bit exaggerated in this context. So because I would probably say there are several types of competitions. It's just more natural. There are several types of competitions that I like to watch, such as international contests like the Olympics or FIFA, as well as local contests. So just a little bit dumbed down, right? Don't overdo it for these. Myriad is like, think about like more than 50 different kinds. Okay. Okay. So myriad means like a lot. Okay. All right. It's a tricky one, I know. All right, Lydia, thank you so much for volunteering, and keep up the good studies.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adrian. I really appreciate your support.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Lydia.
Bye-bye, Mr.
All right, that was Lydia. Really great job. Yes, so careful students, finding that right balance of words. Always think about your listener, okay? When you have good English, when you're at that band 7, band 8, think about your listener. Think, am I making it easy right now for my listener to understand what I'm saying? So a combination of simple with details, with the right vocabulary, sounding natural, that's what you want to achieve. And in part 1, that often means you don't need to use really complicated words or idioms. Okay, start simple. It's 15 minutes, the speaking. You have part 2, you have part 3. There will be lots of opportunities for you to use more advanced vocabulary and expressions for parts 2 and parts 3. So don't go overboard in part 1 if you have that level of English. Okay, all right, keep that in mind. Okay, let's take one more volunteer. Let's take Maid here. I don't think Maid had a chance, our premium student Maid. We've got lots of premium students in here today. That's really great to see, everyone. And a lot of those premium students that I'm looking at there, I know are around a band 7, 8. So it's a great chance for all of you to interact with each other. So while I'm doing this, premium students, try to contact each other and say, hey, I see that you're in here every week. Would you like to study once or twice for 20 minutes with some speaking questions? You have some speaking questions up top here. Okay. Maid, let's see if you're ready for a couple of questions. Maid, are you ready? Okay. By the way, Lydia, you did do a really good job of using the questions. So I liked how you reflected the present perfect and the conditional. That was very smart. So if I had the chance, I would make some kind of an academic competition. That was really good. Okay. So Maid, if you're still with us, give me a sign. Let me know. And then we'll jump into the last few questions again, just to get a different perspective. If you're still here, I'm not sure. That's why I check, right? Okay, Maid, I don't see you responding, so I'm guessing you might have left your station. Let's try maybe Ahmed. Ahmed, are you ready? Okay, it's nice to see so many of you coming back regularly. practice is key, and I love seeing more and more premium students coming back day in, day out to practice and master new vocabulary, new grammar, new ideas and concepts. It's all great for sure. So Ahmed, if you're there, let me know. I'm gonna try one more. We're kind of running out of time, but okay. Maybe not. Okay, let's try Tatiana. Tatiana, are you there? Tatiana says, I'm going to try even though I haven't heard most of the stream. That's okay, Tatiana. You can jump in on this pretty quick, so it's fine.
Hello, dear Adrian.
Hi, Tatiana. How are you?
A busy bee, as always.
I'm a busy bee, as always.
Of course, I'm so busy that I skipped I am. Okay, sorry.
That is a good excuse if I ever heard one. I'm so busy I skipped the subject noun. All right.
Yeah,
no worries.
we use that a lot in Russian, but in English I shouldn't do it, of course.
Yeah, it's that's one of the most difficult parts of mastering other languages, is to figure out what parts are omitted, so what parts are taken out, right? I learned Japanese as my international language for university, and one of the aspects of Japanese that's really interesting is how they can take out a lot of the information. So in Japanese, sometimes like a full idea is just one word. They take out so much from the sentence, and you just say one word and the person's like, oh, I completely understand. And it's like, you can't do that in English. In English, it's usually more words than less words. So yeah.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, English is weird like that. It omits less than other languages generally. Okay, here we go, Tatiana. Are you ready for a few questions?
Of course.
All right, here we go. Have you ever won a race?
Yes, I have. I won a running race in my childhood. It was in my 4th year at school. I came second or third, and I was really happy because running isn't really my cup of tea. I'm not very good at it, but I was happy that I completed the mission. It was a PE lesson, and that I was better than others.
If you could make a competition, what would it be?
It would, if I given a chance, I could create an interesting competition. It would be the competition on the best or most beautiful summer bouquet. I used to have this. We used to have this competition in my primary school. Only there were autumn bouquet, and nowadays the materials and the services that can help with with implementing this idea are much many. There are many more services and materials that can be applied to this competition.
That is the end of part 1, right? That's where the examiner starts to say, let's just wrap that answer up and keep going, right? Yeah, not failed. So it's not a fail, but
0.5.
Yeah, no, it's not a 0.5. It would be, so you would definitely get a 7.5 for that. You're using very good English, so you get a 7.5. Your first answer was actually much closer to an 8.5, even a 9 potentially. Your second answer was much closer to a 7, so we would balance that and say, okay, 7.5, yeah. Okay. So it wasn't terrible, but it was a bit off, okay? I liked your pacing. I liked how you're not speaking too quickly. I liked how you corrected yourself and added in the question. So you said, given a chance, I would create. That was really good. A little bit of missing vocabulary for your second answer too. So you said a competition to create a beautiful summer bouquet. And interestingly, I should say, I spoke about the Japanese language, and in Japan they have these kinds of competitions. Yes. What is it called in English? It's called it's 2 words for this type of competition. It's called flower what?
Contest?
Flower arrangement.
Sure.
right?
Flower arrangement, yeah.
Yeah, so it would be called a flower arrangement competition to create a summer bouquet. It's a tricky one. Tatiana and everybody watching, careful with what you choose to answer. Even though it sounds like, you know, a really fun answer, I might go with something a bit simpler for the IELTS just to avoid getting myself into a difficult situation. So I would talk about like a simple math competition, right? Or maybe recreating the running race for children that you participated in because it was so much fun. So something that's a little bit easier to express and explain than flower arrangement and creating a summer bouquet. Careful. So careful with your choice, right? You don't want, it's called pigeonholing. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself, which means squeeze yourself into a tough spot that you have to fight to get out of with vocabulary and explanation. And that's kind of what happened, right? You that's why you started talking so much, because you're like, "Ooh, I'm in a tough spot and I need to make sense of this somehow." So but I got you. So just stop when you feel like it's, you know, going too far, then just say,
I understood.
Yep.
So if I have problems with the following questions, it's better to rely on the previous and come up with something like that to come up with something which wasn't the previous answer.
Exactly, especially if you feel that one went really well, and I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, oh, that answer was really nice. It was smooth. It went well.
Yeah.
Okay, let me use that for my next one, right? And then, because if you think about, okay, summer bouquet, you're like, ooh, it sounds good at first, but that could be a little bit tough, right? So keep that in mind. So easy path is the right path. Okay.
Yeah. You are always full of great tips and ideas. Thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome, Tatiana. I'm happy to hear that feedback. Have an awesome rest of your day, and maybe take a picture of that summer bouquet and share it with us. I'd love to see it. It sounds pretty, nonetheless.
Yeah. Likewise. Okay.
Bye, Tatiana.
Hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So keeping it simple. All right. We're having so much fun today, everybody. We've gone a little bit over the usual time, but that's fine. Again, there are lots of premium students and lots of regular students in the chat. Talk to each other. If you see this kind of a message, WebSocket's closed, please try reloading. All you have to do is just refresh the page, and you'll make a fresh connection. Okay. Students, the website we used for this is aehelp.com. This is our website, and welcome. We use this website. You see me here. We use this website to power our live lessons. Make sure to join the premium version of the IELTS package by clicking this here. In fact, I don't know if Carolina mentioned this or Umra, but you can actually purchase the premium package through Shopify as well now, which is linked to these videos. So lots of places to join up and really enjoy the learning of IELTS in English. Tomorrow, I will be back with reading and writing task 2. So writing task 2, I believe, yes, will be for members, and reading for subscribers. Again, a big shout out, a whoop whoop, for everybody, and for helping us achieve that 100,000 followers on Instagram. That is making us super happy all week long. Thank you so much. Check out our website, aehelp.com, glshelp.com. I hope that you have an awesome rest of your day. Carolina, Umra, thank you for moderating. Volunteers, thank you for being brave. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world right now. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada. See you tomorrow.